In the sleepy town of Evergreen Hollow, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, lived a 75-year-old woman named Agnes. Her small cottage stood at the edge of the woods, its white picket fence weathered by time. Agnes had gray hair tied in a neat bun, kind blue eyes that crinkled at the corners, and a gentle smile that hid years of quiet sorrow. Her husband, Thomas, had died 5 years ago from a long battle with cancer. They had shared 50 years of marriage, filled with laughter, dances in the kitchen, and walks under the stars. Now, their 2 sons lived in distant cities, one a doctor in Chicago, the other an engineer in Seattle. They called on holidays, but the house felt empty, like an echo of what once was. Agnes filled her days with knitting scarves for neighbors, tending her vegetable garden, and reading old romance novels by the fireplace. She missed the warmth of companionship, the way Thomas would hold her hand during storms. Storms had always scared her a little, reminding her of her childhood when a tornado had torn through her family's farm. But Thomas had made them bearable, whispering stories until the thunder faded. Tonight, as the clock struck midnight, a fierce storm brewed outside. Dark clouds swallowed the moon, and wind howled like a wild animal. Rain pounded the roof, turning the dirt paths into rivers. Agnes sat in her rocking chair, a cup of chamomile tea cooling in her hands, listening to the chaos. Suddenly, amid the roar, she heard a faint cry. At first, she thought it was the wind playing tricks. But it came again, a high-pitched meow, desperate and scared. Agnes set her tea down and shuffled to the window, peering through the rain-streaked glass. Lightning flashed, illuminating the yard. There, clinging to a low branch of the old oak tree, was a tiny black kitten. Its fur was soaked, eyes wide with terror. The branch swayed dangerously in the gusts, and below it, a puddle had grown into a small flood from the overflowing creek nearby. "Oh, you poor little thing," Agnes whispered, her heart aching. She remembered a kitten from her youth, a stray she'd named Midnight, who had comforted her after her parents' death. That cat had been her only friend during lonely times. This one looked just as lost. The storm intensified, thunder booming like cannons. The kitten meowed again, slipping slightly on the wet bark. Agnes couldn't just watch. "I have to help," she said aloud, her voice firm despite the fear bubbling inside. She grabbed her raincoat from the hook, an old yellow one Thomas had bought her, and slipped on rubber boots. The flashlight from the drawer flickered weakly, but it would do. Opening the door, wind slammed into her, nearly knocking her back. Rain stung her face like needles. "Hold on, little one," she called, though the words were lost in the gale. Step by step, she waded into the yard, mud sucking at her boots. The oak tree was only 20 feet away, but it felt like miles. Lightning cracked overhead, lighting the path. As she reached the tree, the kitten spotted her and cried louder, paws scrambling. Agnes shone the flashlight up. The branch was about 6 feet high, not too bad, but slippery. She reached up, standing on tiptoes.